All right, folks, welcome back to the How to Retire on $3,000 per week podcast. And we've just finished chapter 2, Ben, which is largely all about lifestyle by design. And look, we introduced the concept of the 7 grades of well-being. And the idea there was for people to really assess where they want to be, but also have a realistic understanding of where am I actually now?
Yeah, so I set this up by saying, okay, we've given you a target of money, but what does that money look like in terms of lifestyle by design? And so we went in there to sort of, try and frame that up in terms of the status of where you are. And the 7 grades do that really nicely. Survival right through to contribution just gives you a pathway, sort of a mountain to climb as you're going through that.
Now, when you and I were getting together to do the illustrations for this book, if you got a copy of this book or you get yourself a copy of this book, you go to howtoretire.3k.com.au. The image that we've got there, and we'll try and describe it, is the bottom 2 steps of the 7 grades have a wave next to them, and that's a really important metaphor
you're underwater.
Because you're only a stroke of God away from being fully underwater. So we really wanted to drive that home. But on page 23, there's this diagram, which I think I'd love to unpack with you on what your expenses look like during accumulation and what your expenses look like after retirement, and how that understanding that actually is a massive unlock on if $3,000 a week is actually enough. Because some people go, well,
that's right. I mean,
I earn more than that now.
If you're in a household, you potentially got a mortgage, you potentially got dependent children. So they are potentially eating up a fair bit of your coin, right? So we always are saying during that accumulation phase that you've got to work out what those essential bills and those discretionary are. But you've also got to be mindful of what goes away, whether you pay down debt, or you don't have those school fees or those general commitments when the kids leave the nest. And I think that is important because once you sort of know that number, you're going to be clear in terms of whatever target of income you want to have each week in retirement.
Now, the rule of 25 is we want to make sure our listeners realise it's a starting point. It's
Correct.
We're going to get to the back of this book later. The case studies actually go into a lot of detail, but it's just this early stage, get a napkin, the old classic back of napkin, and write down the income that you want. If it's $3,000 a week, you do $156,000 times 25, and it'll actually tell you how much you need in retirement. So, and first of all, the number is quite stark. You go, but you're going to do it through a combination of capital growth. You're going to do it through a combination of building it over time. So don't be intimidated by that. But ultimately, it's a good guide for us to set a North Star. And as people are reading through this book, if they can remember that as they're going through, it's just building the skill set that allows them to work towards that.
It's effectively, if you reverse engineer it, it's 4% yield. So if you're getting a 4% income off the back of that, so if you're getting 5% or a little bit higher, it's the rule of 20, not the rule of 25 as part of that. So I think that's important. But I also, how we're building the book up at this point in time is really just about gravitating the money into the purpose. Because again, being the richest person in the graveyard isn't going to be a thing, right? It's not something you should be aspiring to, right? So ultimately what we want to be doing here is saying, all right, what is this? What is the purpose of this money? What is it going to, how's that money going to allow me to have the lifestyle by design and the experiences, and give me those things that really fill the bucket in terms of who I am and the experiences I have with my loved ones.
You never see a hearse towing a trailer.
No, you don't.
And that's the important bit. Hey, look, we'll round this out by saying, look, of all of the people that we've surveyed, and we've surveyed a lot through our platform on More, moorr.com.au, the most common responses, by far, the top 2 were security and freedom. There wasn't toys. There wasn't extravagant. The top 2, like they're in the list, and
Jewelry.
They go down.
Yeah.
The top 2,
big boys' toys,
were security and freedom, and I think for anyone who's reading this book or who's listening to this, I think it's really important to understand that's why we've made it $3,000 a week, not how to retire on $20 million, not how to, because for most people, they're not aspiring to have the Instagram social envy lifestyle that they see. They want security and freedom by far. They are the most important. Then a bit of work-life balance, followed by time with the family. So if we get super dialed in on that, then we go, okay, we don't. It's not who dies with the most toys wins.
It's not an ego book. It's not a book for egomaniacs, is it? Right? Yeah. It's just about living a great life.
So there you go, folks. Hopefully you have seen where you are in your 7 grades of financial well-being. As we move throughout the book, we're going next to talk about what is wealth. But thanks for listening to the podcast. If you want to play along at home, we encourage you to go to How to Retire on 3k.com.au, get your own copy, or you click on any of the links in our description here, audio book, or whichever way you like to consume, that'll be in the link. But until next time, when we go through chapter 3, this is How to Retire on 3k per week.